Hello and welcome to Grim Survival. I hope this thing is working. Welcome to Grim Survival. Like I said, this is going to be a live stream attempt. Now, I've not done a live stream at all in 22 or 20. Oh, hold on. That's really annoying. Okay. Yeah, I know the sound's working because I just heard it in my ear, and yeah, that's annoying. So I will stop doing that. But like I said, hello and welcome to Grim Survival. If I hadn't said that already, live stream does seem to be running, and I hope everyone else can hear me. I know I could hear me, so that's a plus at least. And yeah, I had to take it out of my ear because it's very distracting. So, like I said, I haven't done a live stream at all in 2020. This is going to be my first attempt. I'm using a webcam hooked to my computer with a very high-powered microphone. So if you hear a dog bark 2 miles away, that's the microphone's fault. Sorry. The webcam is a lot lower quality than what I typically use for recording. I typically use my phone, which is actually right here. I don't think I've ever shown that on camera before because I'm usually, recording on it. So that's my phone. It's not recording me for once. That's a very different experience to me. At least I know where to look. You're right there. I know where to look now. I can never figure it out on my phone. I always look left or right, and it's confusing. So yeah. Anyway, now my phone's vibrating a lot, so you're probably going to hear a lot of background noise because, like I said, it's a really high-powered mic. It's a condenser mic, and it picks up everything. I mean, you'll hear somebody scratch their neck from a mile away. All right, so I'm going to be talking about food rationing today, food rationing, and really the question is for me. I want to ask you guys when do you food ration? When do you think we should start rationing food? Hello, Vicky. I can see a chat. You're my first chat. Awesome. Yeah, and I got my chat over there. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can't see that. So I'm going to be talking about food rationing. Food rationing is going to be a priority, I believe, by this time next year. If you hear me clicking a lot, my mouse is really close to the microphone, and my keyboard's one of those clicky kinds, so it's going to be kind of loud if I start typing on here. So basically, the only thing I have for food rationing, the only information that I have personally comes from World War II, and I have a lot of it pulled up on that screen. I have a screen there and a screen there and a screen there and a screen there and a screen there. Hello, everyone. Hey, I got chats. That's weird. That's weird. I can see people talking. That's really weird for me. Like I said, I've done live chats before. It's been a long time ago. I think it was about this time last year, the last time I did it. YouTube doesn't allow me still to do live chats on my mobile device on my phone. They will not let me. They say they have updated eligibility requirements, but they will not tell me what the updated eligibility requirements are. So I had to set this all up on my computer, which took longer than it should have. But yeah, here we are. Here we are. And I hope everyone is having a great night. I had a bit of an annoying video I posted earlier. I was annoyed by the video. It angered me to see all the things I was seeing and read all the things I was reading. It really did. It really just it angered me, to say the least. People are just letting their rights go right out the window. All over the world, they're just letting their rights go. I mean, it's like they don't even notice or they don't even care. It's wow. It's just wow. Yeah. That's all I can say about it. Anyway, back to food rationing. Now, the only information I have comes from World War II food rationing, and this was due to a war, but it was also due to a shortage because we were really coming out of the Great Depression right in this particular time frame, and so coming out of the Great Depression, we were already rationing food for most people. Didn't have enough as it was, and when I talk about food rationing, there are people like myself that are on a budget that food rationing is just a day-to-day activity in your life. It's what you do because that's what you have. If with the prices of food going up as much as they are, I mean, the price of food is just it's skyrocketing. And if you don't notice the price of food going up, look at the quantities of the packaging, because I always compare bacon and coffee. Now, I used to be able to get a 1-pound bag of coffee for $7. These are whole beans. 1-pound bag, and this was last year. 1-pound bag of coffee for $7. Now I'm getting they're as low as 10 ounces now for the same price in the same container. The container looks exactly the same except for that little quantity marker. So watch your quantities in your stores. I will let her know. Thank you. We've been trying to get the jam canning video up, and she recorded the the voiceover for it yesterday, and I was going to have it up today, but I couldn't use it. That's the second time she's tried to record it, and I couldn't use it. She's using my microphone, and she tried to do it from work. And yeah, you could hear people talking outside of her vehicle. You could hear, trucks backing up near. It was insane. So I could not use the audio. I had to, just delete it. And she's going to try to record it again on her next day off. Her schedule is incredibly insane. It's like 3 days on, 2 days off, 2 days on, 3 days off, and it just, yeah, it's insane. So yeah, looking for the jam video. It'll be up sooner or later. I mean, I've been saying that for what, 2 weeks now. It's yeah. Thank you, Vicky. I did need to vent sometimes. So live is going to help me vent. I'm just going to yell at my camera from time to time. Okay, I'm joking. That was a joke. Anyway, back to food rationing. I have information pulled up here on my other screen from World War II, and reading a lot of this just from Google and Wiki, and I have a couple other things pulled up, but I don't know how, if I can, to share it on the screen. I probably can't. Well, I probably can, but yeah, I'm not going to attempt to do that right now. And I don't know how long this live stream is going to last. It's just, really a basic test. I wanted to make sure. I've never used the YouTube platform for live streaming at all, ever. So I'm going to attempt to do that now. Wish me luck. Yeah. So in World War II, May of 1942, they started rationing in World War II. Starting with sugar. Sugar was the first thing they started rationing in 1942. So that was affecting their restaurants. That's affecting, just sugar. What is sugar in? If you look at ingredients for anything that you eat, there's probably sugar in it. I mean, 90% of everything I find has sugar. It's really hard to find food that doesn't have sugar in it. So imagine right now if they started rationing sugar, what that would do to not only our restaurants, but our grocery stores and our economy. I mean, what would happen if we just were out of sugar? I mean, everything has sugar in it. Your ketchup bottles have sugar in it, it's completely unnecessary, but there it is. Thank you, James. I really appreciate that. I really do. I'm reading chat over here. I'm reading screens over here. I got a camera right here. This is weird. Just so you know, this is very weird for me. Anyway, it's weird. I hope it's not weird for you. But like I said, 1942, starting with sugar. Sugar was the first thing to get rationed. And just that alone would be detrimental to our economy. So many restaurants, bakeries rely on sugar to get breads made. And I'm not just talking about your local bakeries or in your grocery store, your local bakery around your town. We're talking about major bakeries like Aunt Millie's Bread and, whatever bread you buy. Keep in mind, there's sugar in that bread. That's how they make it. And like I said, it's completely unnecessary. You can use honey and other things. They just choose to use sugar because, well, frankly, it's addicting. And yeah, they want to keep you addicted. So yeah. And I will have to get used to multitasking. It's been a while since I started multitasking. The weather where I live, I'll tell you right here on my phone. I might be able to show you right here on my phone. Maybe not. My phone's not letting me in. It's 48 degrees and cloudy right now. So yeah, 48 degrees Fahrenheit. It's supposed to rain again tonight. It's been raining for like 2 weeks. So in May of 1942, they started with sugar. Coffee was added to the list that November. So from May to November, they went from just rationing sugar to now they're rationing coffee. Could you imagine that? What if they started rationing coffee around here now? And in order to get certain things, they were, what is it? I had it here pulled up a minute ago. Where did it go? They had cards. It was like a certificate and little tokens that they used for ration. It was ration cards and ration tokens, and each token did something a little different, and your ration card did something a little different. And it was basically based on the number of people in your household. It's a lot like food banks do now. If you go to a food bank or you've ever been to a food bank, they want to know how many people live there. Some of these food banks will actually make you prove how many people live there, but most of them don't. I mean, I know people that just go to these food banks that don't even need to, and they're saying, yeah, I got this many people in my house, and they give them a box of food. It's really just, I do not agree with that at all. But that's what people have been doing. I mean, that's just what people have been doing. In your yard homestead, in your yard. I've always wanted to ask you, man, whose yard are you in? Because if I haven't seen you in my yard, I really haven't. I mean, I haven't seen you in my yard once. I'd like you to come build a fence in my yard. I've seen that, the hinge you made. on that what was that you were building? You were building a gate or a cage, but you made that little hinge. That thing was awesome. I watched that video. Yeah, it was a great video. Guys, check out his video, In Your Yard Homestead. You really should check it out. It's a great channel. I really like him. It's fun to watch and good information over there, but still very censored, extremely censored. Because yeah, the location. If you seen my video earlier, you know why. But yeah, white sugar is more addictive and deadly. Yes, it is very more deadly than heroin. I agree. Completely agree on white sugar. Completely agree. But also high fructose corn syrup is not any better. It's not any better at all. But going back to the sugar, it's so addicting. It's actually derivative from the same plant that gives you cocaine. Why is cocaine illegal but sugar's not? Because if you look at the side effects from coming off of sugar, you have withdrawals. You have withdrawals like you're coming off of a drug because sugar is a drug. So yeah, ration it all you want. I don't really care about sugar. Sugar's just one of those things that we shouldn't be eating anyway. It really isn't. Now, my wife has recently had to go to the doctor, and she was borderline diabetic because her sugars and things like that. And she's, you know, her sugars levels gone down because we started changing the way we eat, and we started just watching what foods have sugar in it, and we've been pulling it out. So yeah, a little prayer for her if you wouldn't mind, because yeah, that's one reason we started making our own jam, because she put honey in it instead of sugar. But you'll see that if I ever get the video online. I'm trying. I really am. So coffee was added in November. Coffee. That reminds me. Coffee. Yeah, I made a fresh cup of coffee before this live stream. I figured I might need it. Yeah. But coffee. Coffee is definitely addictive also. But it depends on the coffee. If you're just drinking black coffee like I am, it actually doesn't have that many detrimental health effects. It's the coffee that has all the sugar in it that really is bad for you. Don't drink lattes; they're bad for you. They're good though. I like a French vanilla latte, but yeah, I can't drink it too much. It's just so much sugar, and yeah, there's so many things that are in our diet that are just completely unnecessary. Sugar being one, high fructose corn syrup being another. It's really bad, and yeah, you just if you know what. Just soda. If you just take any soda product, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, whatever you drink, and look at what it actually does. The documentaries on these things are insane. The amount of sugars in that particular drink is more than like 1 week's worth of what you're recommended to have. More than. So, and don't quote me on that, because I think that number may be a little lower than what it actually is. The syrup in the sodas like Pepsi and Coca-Cola, the syrup that they use in there was originally used for people that were having upset stomachs. It was originally used to stop people from vomiting. So they put that particular chemical in that syrup inside of your soda to keep you from vomiting up the sugars, because if you're drinking a soda, you're taking in enough sugar that your body would naturally vomit it back up because it's too much. It's so much sugar that you got to watch these documentaries. I'll find them and post them on the Facebook channel if I can. I will. Yeah, the amount of sugars that go into your body in just one soda, 12-ounce can of soda is such an insane amount that they have to put chemicals in there to keep you from vomiting it back up. And that's just, ugh. Yeah, don't drink that stuff. I haven't drank a soda, and I couldn't even tell you how long. I have water and coffee. It's about the only two things I drink. The occasional adult beverage, but very occasional for me, because yeah, we'll just leave that there. Family members have really, thank you, family members, for being the way you are that made me not want to be like you. Worked out well. All right, so after coffee was added to the list that November 1942, meats, fats, canned fish, cheese, canned milk came the following March. So the March of 1943, they started rationing out meats, fish, canned foods, cheese and things like that. And anybody who has a grandparent or anybody who is old enough to have lived in the time period, but my grandparents would tell me government cheese. Anybody remember government cheese? Big old blocks of like this fake American, like Velveeta looking cheese that, I don't know, what would you cook with that? Mac and cheese, I guess, was one of the staples. Interesting fact about World War II, I believe it was World War II, is when Spam came to be, because they needed food for the soldiers. So Spam, came out with that little canned bunch of whatever that stuff is in that can, and that became very popular. And then, it traveled all around Europe with the soldiers, and then it became popular all over the world. It was very good for them. What's up, Slick? Yeah, just, another day, another me sitting here in front of a camera. It's really odd though. I got screens all around me and I got coffee here and people are talking to me as I'm talking. Why is your message restricted? How do I unrestrict a message? That's really weird. Um, uh, uh, yeah, I don't know how to unrestrict your message. Why is your message restricted? If you're trying to post links, it will restrict it automatically, or there's words. And yeah, I'll have to look into that because it won't let me show it. That's very strange. Yeah, that is very true that sugar and high fructose corn syrup will gain weight. Sugar does nothing in your body but turn into fat and is stored. That's all it does in your body. If you want to lose weight, if you want any kind of weight loss, cut out breads and cut out sugar because bread is basically sugar. It's made with sugar. So yeah, cut it out. You'll lose weight. You really will. Unless you have an underlying problem, then possibly not. But yeah, World War II food rationing is the only thing I really have to go into. So a lot of people, and I've heard that China is now required to ration food. Required. So I believe China is putting their entire population on half portions. How are they regulating that? Is what I would like to know. I mean, I assume they're regulating it at the grocery store. If you go to your grocery store, you can only buy a certain amount. We've seen a little bit of this in early 2020, or I'd say about mid 2020, when we started having shortages due to COVID. It had nothing to do with the crop loss of last year at all. It was all COVID's fault. Right, right, right. Anyway, whether it was or was not, do your own research on that. But we started seeing what basically was rationing in this country. You could go into a grocery store, Costco, for instance. I was in Costco and they have the big bags of rice and it had big signs around them, one bag per customer, one bag of rice per customer. And yeah, there was a lot of grocery stores doing the same thing with meats. I seen it with meats. I seen it with canned food and water cases. And what's the most popular one? Toilet paper. Toilet paper. They were rationing toilet paper. That's just, yeah, that the toilet paper shortage was the most ridiculous thing I ever seen in my life. It was ridiculous. I never had a problem with it. I really didn't. Yeah, I'll just leave it there. My wife works at a place that makes certain things that require. Yeah, that's just about that. Anyway, World War II, they issued ration books, stamps, and tokens, as I was saying earlier. And ration books were definitely like a little, I don't know if you remember food stamp books back in the day, before everything went digital and everybody got a card. Food stamps, you had a book of stamps and you could turn it in at the grocery store, and then they would, it would pay for your food. It would take off a certain amount for the food stamps. That's why they call it food stamps. They don't call it that anymore, but a lot of older people still do. Yeah, and that's basically the same thing as a ration book. You had a little thing in there, and you could use it to get food. And the only difference is with the rations, you still had to pay for your food. So you had ration books, stamps, and tokens, and the you know different depending on who you were really affected what you could receive. And if you were somebody like a celebrity, if you were somebody like a government official, sure, you could get all the food you want because corruption has just been going on forever. It'll never stop, never end. Hey, I see Full of Hope in the chat. Hi, Full of Hope. How are you? Haven't talked to you in a while. I did send you an email earlier. Yeah, I did. I've been trying to check my emails more and more, but every now and then I just go a day without it. So if I don't answer any comments, if I don't do anything on Saturdays, that's because on Saturdays, I'm not doing anything but this. This is all I do on Saturdays right here. And this is, yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but that's the scriptures. That's my Bible. Everything looks backwards on my screen for some reason. I don't know if you're seeing it backwards, but I am. Yeah, definitely odd. Sorry, checking emails. I got too many screens in front of me. I really do. I have a tablet over there. I have a phone here. I have a monitor there, and yeah, a couple other things here and there. It's distracting. Stop looking at all the screens. Camera's right there, right? All right, but this screen I need. Yeah, where was I? So other things they started rationing. There were 1942. They were rationing tires, gasoline, and automobiles. tires, gasoline, and automobiles. So let's just say your car broke down or your tire went flat and you called, the tow truck. Hey, I need a tire. You call AAA. Call AAA. I used to work for AAA. I need a tire. AAA will bring you a tire. They really will. They'll also bring you gasoline. But let's say you call AAA and they're like, well, we can't bring you a tire today because we're rationing tires and we don't have any in stock for your particular vehicle. And I've said this in other videos. You should definitely, most certainly, have extra car parts. If you can afford to do so, have extra tires, have extra brake pads, know how to change your own tires, know how to change your own brake pads. It's very essential. Know how to do basic work on your vehicles, and store gasoline. Gasoline does not have a long shelf life. It does not have a long shelf life. I mean, 6 months. If you put those little chemicals in it, maybe a year, maybe. Yep, in the 80s, ration cheese and cans of meat in Ireland. Now the meat was like cat food. Yeah, it's kind of like Spam because Spam's kind of like cat food to me. I will never eat Spam again. I just won't, just due to the ingredients and what I know about it. I won't eat Spam. I will not even stock Spam anymore. Basically, it's a lot cheaper right now for everyone to can their own food. If you can find canning jars. If you can't, then probably not. But it is so much cheaper. If you go into grocery stores, vegetables, fresh produce always will have a lower price. And if you wait until the fresh vegetables are almost ready to expire, almost going bad, basically, those vegetable prices drop even more. And if you pick those up that day and take them that day into a dehydrator, or can them in certain ways, mix them in a stew or a soup and something, can that, then you're preserving that vegetable that was about to go bad in the store, and you got it at a cheaper price because it was about to go bad at the store. So always check your stores. Always check your stores for deals, because, I mean, even meat products, once they get close to their expiration date, they will lower the price. I've seen it in Kroger that you'll have a certain section of just a little bit of meat over here that's, $2 less than its normal price because it's going to expire in a day or two. And if you take that same meat and you go make a chili, or you just can it as it is, you can can beef just by itself, and you can can chicken just by itself. Don't eat pork. It's bad for you. So I'm not going to tell you about that. But yeah, repair kits. Yep. Bicycles. Get a bicycle. Yeah. China's food shortage must be real. Even government officials are forbidden to have feasts. Yeah. Now, it's pretty bad when the government officials can't have a feast in China. It's pretty bad. Now, last year we talked about China's, and they're not talking about this at all, but China eats a lot of pork. If you've ever been to a Chinese restaurant, China eats a lot of pork, and all their pigs died off of some kind of disease at the end of last year. All of them. I mean, it was like billions of pigs, if I remember the numbers correctly. I have videos on this. Check my food shortage playlist. You'll find the videos. I don't know exactly which one, but it's in there somewhere, I think. Yeah, I've lost track of my own videos. I really have. I've been posting too many videos. But yeah, back to tires, gasoline, and automobiles. What if your car breaks down? What if your transmission goes out and you just can't get another one? I mean, imagine going to the local buy here, pay here just to get a cheap vehicle. And they're like, well, sorry, but we're saving these vehicles for people that really need them. There were, back in 1942, 43, when they were rationing automobiles, you had to prove a need for an automobile. You had to prove a need that you needed the gasoline for some specific purpose. But you're talking 1940s. In the 1940s, most people worked really close to where they lived. They didn't have to go 30, 40 miles into a city to their job. They didn't have to travel, an hour just to get to their job. So most people live closer to their job, so they could get away with walking or riding a bicycle. So you had to prove a need. Why do you need this gasoline? Imagine pulling up to a gas pump trying to get to work one day, and you're trying to get, just a few gallons of gas to get to work, and they tell you, well, why do you need it? What is your job? Where are you going? Why do you need to get to that job? What if they say, no, you can't go to work today because we can't give you the gasoline? And what are you going to do? What's going to happen when nobody can get to work because they don't have any gasoline? What's going to happen? And I mean, electric cars here or there, but yeah, I don't know nothing about electric cars. I don't own one, and I've never owned one, and I hope to never own one, but eventually we will all own them, right? Thank you, In the Yard Homestead. Thank you for being here. Have fun with your work. I know it's early morning over there for you guys. Well, I don't know how early it is in the morning, but it's probably pretty early in the morning. So, yeah, God bless you also. All right, back to rationing. I had more information pulled up over here, but I can't remember which one of these tabs it's on. I have 4 tabs. Plan your victory garden now. Plan your victory garden now. It's a lot of ads for World War II. Victory gardens. Does anybody know what a victory garden is? Because you needed food to have a victory. So that's what a victory garden is. I mean, how are we going to have victory if we do not feed our troops? Victory garden. So everybody was encouraged to plant a garden back in the 1940s, during World War II especially, but also Great Depression era on up to, I mean, I believe it stopped in the 60s. I believe so. That's when they stopped promoting growing your own food, and then only the hippies were growing food, right? Only the hippies. Only the hippies. Man, to know a hippie would be awesome right about now. We need a few more hippies to know how to grow, right? Does anybody know a hippie? Send them my way. I need to know a couple hippies. I used to know a hippie, I really did, but he was not into growing his own plants. He was into using his own plants. So we'll just leave it at that. You get it, right? Okay, I hope you get it. Coffee, November, yeah, fats, cheese. Propaganda posters urged Americans to plant victory gardens and can their own vegetables to help free up more factory processed foods for use by the military. Propaganda posters. This is right here on this thing. This is a National World War II Museum.org. This is where I'm reading this article from. If you want to check it out, World War II Museum.org, National World War II. It says National WW2 Museum.org. So yeah, if you want to look that up. And this is war article rationing, it says. But yeah, it's outright saying propaganda posters are urging Americans to plant victory gardens. Propaganda posters. So yeah, I've seen a few of these posters, and basically that's all it is. It's propaganda. They're saying if you don't grow your own food and support yourself, then your favorite soldier is going to die. I mean, that is essentially what it was telling people, that if you don't eat your own food and grow your own food, that your husband, brother, son, whoever was in the war, because pretty much everyone was or knew somebody who was at the time period, if you didn't plant your own garden, you're killing a soldier. Yeah, so victory garden, right? Yes, and that's what it says here, Vicky, that they're also, that the victory gardens were to help free up factory processed foods for the military. But it wasn't the fact that you needed the victory garden, it was why they were telling you to need the victory garden that was kind of iffy there. Kraft sold some 50 million boxes of its macaroni and cheese product during the war. 50 million boxes. Have we all been stocking up our macaroni and cheese boxes? You know, the ones that have the little powdered cheese packet. I mean, yeah, it's not that good for you, but yeah. I don't know if the swine flu actually did end, James. I really don't. I still hear things about it, but I'm not sure. I don't believe it was the swine flu that killed all the pigs in China. It was a different type of disease that just flooded, and it was actually transmitted from humans, if I remember that correctly. If I remember it correctly. Yeah, exactly. Clean your plate. Think of the starving children and clean your plate. I mean, because you eat more, so the children aren't going to starve, if I'm reading that correctly. But yeah, it's like if you don't plant your own garden, the soldiers are going to die. That's propaganda. It's just a bunch of you know what and you know where. It really is. All right, so where was that interesting thing I read? Here it is. The OPA rationed automobiles, tires, gasoline, fuel, oil, coal, firewood, nylon, silks, and shoes. They were rationing shoes. And I'll talk about the OPA in just a minute. But, just going back up the list there, firewood. They were rationing firewood. Imagine depending on firewood to heat your home. If you have a fireplace or if you have a wood-burning stove, imagine having a lot of wood stocked right now because you're like me and you prep. So you have a big, huge pile of dry firewood sitting outside your house. What if a military truck rolled by and said, hey, we need that firewood, and starts loading it in their truck and takes it away? Rationing firewood. That's taking your supplies, and we think it won't happen, that the government won't say, hey, we need what you have and come and take it from us. We think that, but look all over the world of how many people it has happened to. It happens to people all over the world. Why doesn't it happen here? Why hasn't it yet? Because armed resistance? Maybe we'll leave that right there. Um, Americans use their ration cards, stamps to take their meager share of household staples, including meat, dairy, coffee, dried fruits, jams, jellies, lard, shortenings, and oils. So cooking oils, your lard, that little bottle of Crisco, or what is it, a little tube can, Crisco oil, Crisco, whatever that stuff is. I don't really think it's real. I don't know if it's real. It's weird looking. But anyway, if you can't get it to cook with, see, I like to cook my rice in butter. I have a lot of rice, so I need to start canning a lot of butter, right? Because I like rice and butter. I don't like plain rice. I have 5-gallon buckets full of salt, like full to the top. If you ever can salt, or if you ever store salt in a bucket, do not add an oxygen absorber in there. Do not do that. That will ruin your salt. I don't know exactly what happens, but it's something to do with the chemical reaction in the O2 absorber that is going to mess with your salt. Salt is a natural preservative. It will not go bad no matter what you do to it. Dump it in a bucket, stick a lid on it. It will stay just fine. Critters don't like salt. They won't come in there unless it's a deer, and a deer can't get into your bucket anyway. So just don't leave it out where the deer. I used to have a horse, and the horse, we used to get him a big old block of salt and put out there in the field, and the horse would just stand there for like an hour and lick the salt. I never understood the point of it, but I guess the horse liked it. You need salt in your diet. You need salt in your diet. So if all you're storing is rice and beans, you need to store some salt to go with it. You need to add a little bit of salt to your rice when you're cooking it, or to anything you're cooking. If you're eating a more vegan vegetarian diet because of food rationing, meat supply shortages, you need to add some salt. You really do. Hydrogenated vegetable oil, long-term poison. Thank you, Vicky. I really appreciate that, because I don't like Crisco either. I've always thought it looked weird, it smelled weird, and there was something wrong with it. So thank you for that. I'm gonna read a little bit of chat here. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a lot of things in World War II happened and are still happening today, such as spam. Spam was created for the soldiers in World War II. Things like Crisco, I don't know when it was invented, but I would assume it was being used around the same time period. Things like margarine, fake butters, and things like this. Yeah, a lot of things come from disaster. A lot of different things will come out of any disaster. Pick it, and different things come. I had my personal disaster in the beginning of 2019. What came from it, it was a lot different for me. Definitely, I stopped driving over the road trucks. I started driving local deliveries. I started driving to Chicago almost every day, which is something I will not do anymore. St. Louis, I've been there several times in a single day from Indianapolis. I drove all the way to Indianapolis, got in my truck, drove all the way to St. Louis, delivered a load, drove all the way back to Indianapolis, dropped off a load, parked my truck, went home. It was like a 14-hour day every day for 6 days a week. It was no thank you. If you add how much money they paid for how long I worked, it was the equivalent of making like $12 or $13 an hour. It was really horrible, and I will not do it no more. I won't. I have been doing little odd things here and there and this and that, and just doing what I can. I'm really trying to get a crossbow to go hunting with, because my hunting firearms are not currently available. Well, yeah. So a crossbow, in currently bow season, crossbows work a lot better. They're legal in my state. Crossbows would be good for quietly hunting. Yeah, we'll leave that there too. So your grandmother would take margarine and add food coloring and run it through the butter press to fool your grandpa. That's kind of mean, but yeah, I've heard similar stories. My wife's grandfather and grandmother, I believe it was it might have been her great grandfather, great grandmother. I don't remember right offhand, but the grandmother, they were Italian, so they lived in Italy. They lived in Italy, and my wife's very Italian. So, in Italy, they had problems in World War II, the same thing with food rationing, and they always would go down to, like, they had little place is set up that the military had set up like a checkpoint, and you would go to the checkpoint to get your staples of the day, get your meat for maybe the day or the week. And the grandfather, my wife's grandfather or great grandfather, he refused to eat anything but beef. He didn't want meat unless it was beef. And the grandmother took, she couldn't get beef. She couldn't get it. And it was horse meat is what she brought back. And she cooked up, in a great Italian dish, macaroni, noodles, whatever it was, with the horse meat. And he ate it and he really liked it. And then she told him after the fact, I believe my wife said she neighed at him, the sound the horse makes at him. He just ate a horse. So yeah, I have family members that used to come to my house before they knew, prepping and stuff like that. And yeah, they're crazy. But anyway, I had family members that refused to eat anything but beef also. And I like bison. Bison meat is way more lean, way better for you than beef, tastes better. It's Torah observant if you do that kind of thing. So bison meat is one of my favorites. Bison burger is just awesome. So my wife cooked up a awesome Italian, no, it was pizza. Yeah, she made a homemade pizza this day, and we used bison meat because, sausage and stuff. But bison meat on the pizza, best pizza they ever had. But when we told them it was bison, whew, SHTF in my house right there. Some people are just so close-minded that it's insane. Brainwashed. I call them brainwashed lemmings. Brainwashed lemmings for sure. Oh, look at that. I have 26 people in the chat. 27. It just went to 27 and 19 likes. Thank you guys. It's awesome. It really is. I don't know what my record is, so I'll have to write that down at the end of this to see what my record is so I can keep track of it like Alaska Prepper does. Is anybody else watching Alaska Prepper? What was that, a little over an hour ago? I like when Victor shows up. A lot of people give him thumbs down when Victor shows up, but I like Victor. I think he's funny. I know he's not Russian, but I always like, make Russian jokes. Make a lot of Russian jokes when Victor comes over because that's just funny. I like the guy. He's funny. He really is. He reminds me of a channel. What was the channel? I can't remember the channel. There's a Russian, the Crazy Russian Hacker. If you've ever seen this YouTube channel, it's a guy called the Crazy Russian Hacker. He does little food hacks and weird things, and it's kind of interesting, but he sounds just like Victor. Go check out that channel if you haven't. I don't know why Victor always reminds me of that. Yes, bison is kosher. I've got to look up that word kosher, because that's what the Jewish people say about eating the right foods is kosher, and I don't really know what the word means. So yeah. So horse is sweeter than beef, but not kosher. Okay, so I'm not eating horse, so I'll take your word for that. I've never eaten a horse that I know of. Of course, I've eaten a lot of things that I don't know of. If you've ever seen my video on what McDonald's puts in their food, I posted it not too long ago. We won't go there right now. Let's just not go there. McDonald's, human and rat DNA has been found in McDonald's food. Let's just put that way. Human DNA. Something just, what am I getting? Message here? Yes, I am getting a message. Yeah. People are messaging me. Look, my phone. This is what I usually don't use. This is what I'm usually using to record videos. That's my phone. This is my Note 10. Wow, look at all the fingerprints on that thing. And yeah, Real Life Prepper posted a video. If you guys haven't seen Real Life Prepper, that's my friend Roderick over at the Real Life Prepper channel. If you just click my channel link and go down to the bottom, you'll see the channels I recommend. Homestead Oz, check those guys out. Check out Real Life Prepper. He's definitely a friend of mine. We've made our channels about the same time, and we have, we go back and forth here or there. But yeah, he just bought a 3-acre piece of property, if I remember correctly, and he's setting up his own homestead on the 3-acre property. So that's interesting videos to come out of Real Life Prepper, I would assume. Definitely would assume. Yeah, I don't know why he gets all the thumbs down. He only gets thumbs down a lot of the times just because he asks for them, and he thinks it's funny. Yeah, I have seen, Jeremy, I've seen the 14-year-old McDonald's hamburger. There was a woman who found a hamburger from McDonald's like in an old coat pocket or something like that, or she found it somewhere that it shouldn't have been and she didn't realize it was there, and it was like that she could remember it was something like 14 years old, and she unwrapped it and it looked exactly like it looked the day she bought it. I assumed it was a lot more stale and harder. You could probably knock somebody out with it, probably. That's my assumption, but it looked exactly like the day that she bought it. It didn't grow any mold, it didn't grow any bacteria. Nothing consumed it. No bugs got to it. If bugs don't want your McDonald's hamburger, you don't want your McDonald's hamburger, right? If the bugs won't eat it, you shouldn't eat it. Definitely. I lost my place here. I was reading things about, the OPA. So it says the OPA rationed automobiles, tires, gasoline, et cetera, et cetera. So I had to look up the OPA. The OPA was the Office of Price Administration. The OPA was founded in August 28th, 1941. The functions of the OPA were originally to control money, price control, rents, and other outbreaks of World War II. Price control. So they were keeping inflation from happening. The OPAs, I'm reading a little more about them as I go down here, but I read a little bit earlier. But the OPA was disbanded, or their power was taken over. Yeah, there it is. The OPA was abolished. That's what they say. Abolished May 29th, 1947. So it ran from 1941 to 1947. And during that time period, if you can find any ads for food prices in stores, because I've seen these old ads in newspapers and things like this, and if you look at these old ads, the OPA was really doing their job of keeping inflation from just taking off. What happened to them? So what happened to them, according to what I read, and I'll give you a summary here of just what I've seen on here, is government officials and certain major companies didn't like what they were doing. They didn't like it. So they started getting their influence in Congress like they do today. And the more they gained influence in Congress, the more they badmouthed the OPA. And then, as we see here, it was abolished effective May 29th, 1947. And after 1947, food prices again started going up. All the prices again started going up. Their job was controlling inflation. This is the OPA. We no longer have an OPA, and we no longer have anyone trying to regulate or control inflation. So inflation's just going through the roof. You just look at your local grocery store. And like I said, if you don't notice a price of a certain item going up, if you think that the price of, just say, your bag of coffee is the same price, look at the container. Look at how much coffee is actually in there. I've seen at Walmart, it wasn't long ago, a bag of Starbucks coffee. And I buy coffee beans. I like to grind my own coffee. I buy coffee beans. It tastes fresher to me. And in Walmart, the Starbucks coffee was $7 for the bag. Bag looked exactly the same. Bag was 6 or 7 ounces. Maybe it was 8. I think it was an 8-ounce bag of coffee for $7. Now, the 8-ounce bag of coffee prior to that, and then this was a couple of months ago, was a 12-ounce bag for the exact same price. Last year, the same exact packaging, same exact container, was a 1-pound container, 1-pound bag, exactly the same price. So it's not always that your prices are going up. Sometimes your quantities are going down. So you got to watch what you're buying. Definitely. I mean, if you're trying to eat according to biblical research and kosher, then you need to definitely look at the ingredients of everything you buy. If you look at something and it says natural flavors in it, that can be, it's not always, but can be derivative from animal products. And they take it from things like beavers and other animals that are most certainly not kosher. So if you got something that says natural flavors on it, you really need to try to do more research on that particular product, because some of these natural flavors do come from plants, some of them, but some of them are actually coming from animal products. And if you do a little more digging, you'll actually find that some of these are coming from the more two-legged animal products. If you know what I'm trying to get at there, it is really, really bad. What word doesn't the computer like? See, I've been missing chat here. I got distracted and started talking a lot. Yeah, I don't have my settings set up all the way for the YouTube live stream. I know I got a lot of words blocked, and I do have links blocked, so you can't post links. I do have a few moderators, but they're probably not on right now. If they are, you'll see them in blue, just a few people that I trust to be moderators. I can also moderate myself on another channel using my phone, or I can just moderate right here. So yeah, I don't really need a moderator currently with the amount of subscribers I have, but eventually we'll get there, right? We will eventually get there if we just believe enough and keep doing what we're doing, right? Right. I really intended this channel to be more survival oriented. I wanted to go with more survival gear. Last time I did a live stream, I actually had this out. I really did. I had this on a live stream, and this is a little fire kit that is currently on my desk. It's got some fat wood in it. I cut off some. This has an old piece of wick. Here we go. An old piece of lamp wick, which I'm just going to toss it out of here. I don't know why it's still in there. I don't need it. It has wet fire, a candle. Then this fire kit I usually don't take with me. I have other fire kits, but this has got my steel. This is my steel, and this is my piece of flint. And the last time I did a live stream, I was sitting here trying to learn to. There it goes. See, look at that. I can get sparks off of it now. See that? I made it spark. And I had to practice this a lot, and I was learning it on a live stream. I'm sorry if that was really loud, but yeah, I was getting some comments on how bad I was at it the last time I made that when I did that live stream, and that was like a year ago. Yeah, what I used to have to do was download certain software to do a live stream, and the software was on my phone, and it really takes over my camera, it takes over my YouTube account, it takes over everything. So I don't like using the software, so I won't. But yeah, I'm not going to hit the button right now, but when I try to go live on here, it gives me a message. I'll see if I still have the picture of it. I had a screenshot of it somewhere in here. I'm not seeing the message. Nope, I'm not. Well, yeah, anyway, the message just tells me that I don't meet their updated eligibility requirements. And when I go read all their eligibility requirements, they have not been updated. And I meet all of them. So what are the updated requirements? They won't tell me. They don't know. They don't know what their updated requirements are. They're just requiring me not to be live on this, because if I go live on this, I'll walk into the middle of a cornfield like I did last year and say, hey, look at all this rotten corn. Or walk into the middle of a soybean field and say, hey, look at all this rotten soybeans. And this is what caused my live streams not to be mobile anymore, because they really don't like it when I do that. This is also what caused all the food shortages. If you don't believe me, those videos are still up. Go back and check out my videos of 2019, when the food shortage videos, when I was still driving up north and throughout the Midwest in a semi-truck every single day. I have a lot of videos of a lot of farms that were underwater, a lot of rotten corn. I have videos of corn that is covered by snow. Have you ever seen a cornfield that was buried in snow? That's not harvestable. I mean, yeah, that's just not harvestable. It's not. All right, so yeah, I talked a little bit about the OPA, and I talked a little bit about food rationing. So a lot of people, like I said in the beginning, a lot of people, we are already there. We are already rationing food. You're giving your kids half of what they used to eat. You yourself are eating, a quarter less of what you used to eat. By this time next year, my predictions are, America's known for obesity. We are known around the world as the obese country. Well, we used to be anyway. This time next year, I don't think we're going to see much obesity in the country. If you do, it's going to be government officials. That's my predictions. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. Grumpy Prepper. Hello, Grumpy Prepper. Why are you so grumpy? I'm grim. You're grumpy. Yeah, that works. We should just do a collaboration there. You can be grumpy and I'll be grim. We'll just go back and forth with who's the grimmest and who's the grumpiest. Yeah. Yeah, that would be fun. Has anybody seen my have a live interview I did with Alaska Prepper last year at the end of 2019? I believe it was December 2019 when me and Alaska Prepper, I asked him a bunch of questions, and it was just fun. It really was. I want to see if I can get him to do it again. Maybe we'll see if we can do it about the same time. Yeah, maybe was that in October or was that in December? I don't remember, but we'll see. I'm gonna see if I can get him to do another one with me. I gotta set it up and go back and forth, and yeah, that would be fun. It really would. All right, so I got about 10 more minutes. I was planning on running this for about an hour if anybody showed up, and look, you guys showed up. That's awesome. Yeah, I like it when people show up and talk. So if anybody has any questions for me, go ahead and put them in the chat. I'm actually reading it over there. That's why I'm not looking there. I'm looking there because the chat's there. So if you got any questions you need me to answer, I will be happy to do so. I also want to let you know in the description is my Facebook page. Through my Facebook page, you can actually message me, and I won't always answer it, but sometimes I will. I do get donations to the channel, but according to my beliefs, when you're not supposed to you're not supposed to talk about that. You're not supposed to give people shout outs according to my beliefs. So if you want me to give you a shout out for anything that you do for me, and I greatly appreciate it, if you want to do that, just hit me up on Facebook, let me know, send me a message, say, hey, you know, I did this, and give me a shout out if you want, or keep it to yourself, whatever. If you don't send me a message, I won't do it. But if you do send me a message, I will do it. That's how I'm just going to do that from now on. So yeah, if you want to, Facebook is there, and yeah, you can actually contact me. I don't know if that's going to be a good thing in the future, but hey, here we are. Yeah, Grumpy, I believe if every channel, every prepping and survival channel subscribe to each other, every one of us would have 50,000 subscribers, because I believe there are that many of us on YouTube right now. I believe there's more than that, but it's so hard to find. I mean, we're so censored. All of us are so censored. Hey, there's Homestead Oz. Homestead Oz showed up, and look, they're blue. I made him a moderator. That's fun. Yeah, I got a moderator. I do. And it's Homestead Oz. I'm glad you showed up. It's like really early in the morning for you guys, isn't it? Go check out Homestead Oz, everyone. You should check out their channel. It's an awesome channel. It's an awesome channel. It really is. Great people over there. They got me this hat. They did. Look, see, it's a nice hat. It's the best hat I have ever owned. And I still have this one because I use this light constantly. I actually have a review on my channel for my hat. It's a hat review. I don't remember where I put it. It's about a year ago. So yeah, I have a review for it. And these things are rather cheap, because I think I paid $20 for this hat, and I think they're still about the same price. And I've seen them in hardware stores now. So they sell them in certain hardware stores, and you can actually find them. So interesting. It's a Panther Power Cap. About the hat, see, I need to design a better one, because it takes these little flat batteries. There's CR2032s, if I remember correctly. They're the same battery my computer takes. If you know anything about computers have a little watch battery. It's a BIOS battery, and it keeps your computer from losing all of its information when it's shut down. My computer takes the same battery as my hat, but I wish my hat would take the same battery as my EDC light, which is one of those, well, probably not quite this big. I have smaller ones, but yeah, my hat needs to take more standardized batteries. So I'd really like to just design my own hat, but yeah, budget allowing. We'll get there eventually, right? I'll have my own hat company. I'll make my own hat. We'll have lights. I'll have a light on this one. That would be awesome. That really would. All right, I got to read here. About rationing, it wouldn't hurt to try and eat smaller portions. I think most of us eat more than we really need to eat, me included. Yes, me included also. And really, it's the plate sizes. Have you ever noticed the size of plates get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger every year? Have you ever been to a restaurant that has a plate the size of, you know, bigger than my head, and they just fill it with food? They don't do that anymore. But I mean, buy smaller plates. It's a proven fact that if you have a smaller plate, and you fill the smaller plate with, you know, half of what you normally eat, you will feel fuller after you eat it. It's a proven scientific fact. You're tricking your own brain into thinking you're eating more just because of what your eyes see. Your eyes are bigger than your stomach. Remember that. That is a proven scientific fact. I know it's an old saying, but it is true. It really is true. Yeah. Yes, like I'm not sure if I'm still going. I know I'm still planning a trip up to the New England area. I really am, because there's work up there to do. There's a trucking company up there that needs some help with not only driving, but other things that I can do. I have a friend up there that lives in the New Hampshire area, and he started a business this year, laser tag business, and I'm trying to find the thing. He's posted videos, and I can't remember the name of my friend's laser tag business right offhand. I really can't. I can't find it. But yeah, Next Level Tag. That's what it is. Next Level Tag in New Hampshire. So if you live in the New Hampshire area and you like laser tag, he's got some really cool equipment that him and a couple people went in on and started a business, and it's really cool. And yeah, I've been offering to do his video editing for him if I can, you know, if the price is right, because I can edit videos. I really can. I'm pretty good at it. Morning tea time. I come first. I don't come first. You got visitors? You got visitors and you came to visit me first? I mean, what are you making? Homestead Austin's got their visitors waiting because I come first. Well, I'm only going to be here for about 5 more minutes. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it. But you shouldn't keep your visitors waiting. You should make them watch me too so they learn something. Yeah. I have fun with live chats. It's more fun than just talking to my phone and then going, I'm walking away. They won't let me monetize my channel, though. They say I need 4,000 watch hours to monetize my channel. So that's why you can't do super chats and things like that, because they just won't let me. I have something like 3,000 watch hours. So the more live videos I do and the more people just hang out for an hour, the more that'll go up. So yeah, if I do 1 hour and I have, like I have now, about 30 people in here for 1 hour, we'll get to that, 4,000 watch hour mark pretty quickly. I think if my math is correctly. They really laugh at you. I assume that's Lynn talking there. They laugh at you for prepping. They do. They won't watch, probably not because they think prepping's funny, and they probably laugh at you because they're uncomfortable with the topic. I mean, that would be my guess. They're probably just very uncomfortable with the topic. They don't. A lot of people are just so frightened of what is to come that they don't want to think about it, and you force people to think about it when you start talking about prepping, or when you suggest that they prep, or as a prepper in general. I never thought about this stuff until I started saying, hey, there's something wrong here. Then when this was back in about 2015, when I realized there was something wrong here. I was driving an overroad semi truck, and I was going from North Carolina to California in a 3-day time, and I was just going back and forth. And then I drove all the way up the west coast of California, all the way up from Los Angeles, all the way up to Walla Walla, Washington State. I've been to Seattle, Portland. I've been to all these places in a semi truck. It's not fun to drive a semi truck because you can't really see all the sights you'd like to see when you're driving past all these places. I've been over almost every mountain range in the country, almost, because there's 3 states I haven't visited on the lower 48, and Alaska and Hawaii. I've never been to either one of those. I do want to go to Alaska. Maybe I can visit AP when I get up there once. Alaska Prepper. If I ever get to visit Alaska, I'll see if I can stop by for a visit. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? Just hang out with Victor. Me and Victor will just sit behind him and do the bunny ears and stuff like that. That would be just hilarious. In my opinion, that would be hilarious. See how many dislikes I could get him. Yeah, if you just pay attention to what you're seeing, and that's one point of why I started seeing the things I was seeing. It's why I started actually putting videos on this channel. I had this channel up before I ever started, or like 2 years before I ever posted a video on it. And one thing I started seeing when I was driving to Chicago last year at the beginning of the year was all the flooding and all the corn crops that were underwater and all the crop loss. And yeah, I mean, all the crop loss was just insane, and I had no choice. I felt convicted to do so. I had no choice. I just started doing this, and I started showing it as I was driving. And a lot of my videos from last year are just that. And in between there, I started talking about what I do know, and I do know more than what I let on that I know. I know a lot more than what I let on that I know, because not everyone needs to know what I know. Because yeah, I know things, but every one of the lower 48, yeah, I drove Class A for 6 years, and I have been all but 3 of the lower 48 in Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. I have not visited those 3. I really want to, just so I can complete the list. Yeah, that would be really, I've always wanted to visit Maine too. I hear it's a very beautiful state up there, and I always like the East Coast more than the West Coast, just from the sights. I like heavily wooded areas. I like mountain type areas. It's really one of the most beautiful places I've ever been, was driving through some of the back roads on the East Coast, just through some of the, the mountain ranges, the Blue Ridge Mountains, Smoky Mountains, things like that. You see, I keep seeing messages restricted, and I don't know why, and I don't know how to view it. I don't. And then when I click the little button next to it, I can put you in a timeout. That would be funny. I can hide the user, and I can report, but I don't know how to actually see the restricted message. That's really just weird. I won't put you in a timeout though. I don't know. I might put myself in a timeout one time. I need to some days, because yeah, I just get on a rant, and yeah. Oh, okay. Well, maybe that's what it was. Don't worry about typos. I mean, I have typos when I'm talking. Have you ever spoken a typo? Because that's weird when you start talking your own typos. Aw, you know you want to. You do. You want to. Homestead Oz wants to. You know they do. They got the power. I gave them the power. I trust them to have the power. I really do. And you should definitely go check out their channel if you haven't done so already. You really should. All right, I got about a minute left of this. So if there's any quick questions you guys want to ask, go ahead and throw it up there real quick because I do have things to do. It's about 7 p.m. my time. I know what time is it for you guys over at Homestead Oz? What was it about? There's like a 15-hour difference. So yeah, it's early morning for you guys, right? Yeah, yep, 10 a.m. So not quite as early as I thought it was. 10 a.m. Yeah, just outside of Maine is a truck stop with fabulous food. You wouldn't believe the kinds of foods that you can't go to those regular truck stops like Pilot Flying J or the big franchise truck stops. But if you go to these little mom and pop truck stops, they always have the best food. Best bison burger I ever had was up in Montana at some little hole in the wall truck stop that I could barely park my truck in. And I pulled in there and I somehow got that thing parked and I went in there and had a bison burger. It's the best burger I've ever had. That's when I started eating more bison burgers. So you watched my first video at 5 a.m. I don't remember what time I posted that. You're up awfully early. I have seen you comment and you said it was 4 a.m. the other day. What are you doing up so early? Yep, yeah, California is about 3 hours behind me if I remember correctly. I'm in East Coast. I'm actually in Indiana, so I'm on Eastern time zone. And weird thing is, Indiana has more than one time zone. If you go up Northwest Indiana, they're actually on Central time. So Indiana used to not change their time at all. When the time zone changed, one part of the year we were Eastern time, one part of the year we were Central time. I like that better. It was better for us, but I don't know why they changed it back. Yep, 7 p.m. here, 7:01 right now. Yeah, you guys live on a farm, and I'm sure there's a lot of work to do there on the homestead, right? A lot of work. I miss that kind of work. I used to have my own. Well, when I was a kid, we lived on some acreage, and I had goat, we had ducks, we had my horses. I had a horse, so we had a couple of horses over the years. And yeah, disabled and prepping is in the house. Welcome, but I'm about to end the live stream. But hello. I really am. I have places to go, so I'll just give it a couple more minutes because I'm enjoying just reading the chat here and sipping my coffee, and people can wait. So yeah. The hat came from davidmorgan.com. Interesting story about the hat is they actually tried to send the hat directly from Australia, but they wouldn't let them send the hat because of restrictions. That's how censored they are. They can't even mail me a hat. They was afraid they were going to stuff a little message in the hat, in the brim of the hat. They were going to stuff a little message in there. Grim, help. Grim, help. And they wouldn't let them send the hat. So they actually had to find the hat in the United States, and we had to get it that way. Yeah, that was a joke. I hope you guys get it. And I really don't know if the swine flu, here, let me look. Do we still have swine flu? I'm going to Google it. Uh-oh. Am I supposed to click that button? Maybe I'll drag it over here. Yeah, other screen. This is going to be loud because I'm going to type. There it is. H1N1, swine flu in 2009 was spreading around the world, so the World Health Organization called it a pandemic. Did you know swine flu was a pandemic according to the WHO, the World Health Organization? Since then, people have continued to get sick from swine flu, but not as many. While swine flu isn't as scary as it seemed a few years ago, it is still important to protect yourself from getting it. This was posted in May 19, 2019. So May 19th of 2019, they still had swine flu. So yeah, it's still around here or there, but don't get your flu shot. The biggest problem most people have is over sanitizing. If you constantly are washing your hands, and I really don't understand that unless, you come out of a bathroom You use the restroom. Now, I've seen this in so many, and this is, I'm going to try to keep this PG. You use a restroom, right? You're only touching your own skin. So unless you use the restroom on your hands, you go over there to the sink and you're touching the dirty sink and you're washing your hands with their chemical-filled soap that's killing all the good bacteria and the bad bacteria that's on your hands. Your body has good bacteria on there. You need that bacteria. It's necessary for you to live. It really is. So then you're washing your hands, and then you walk out and you grab the door handle and you open the bathroom door. That a lot of people that did not wash their hands, and a lot of people who did wash their hands, either way, the door handle's probably more dirty than you're touching your own body. And unless you use the restroom on your actual hands, why are you washing your hands every time you come out of the bathroom? Why? I don't get it. And that's just one example. Have you seen how they're wiping everything to death at every restaurant you've ever been to, every time you go to the gas station? I mean, I went to a convenience store and they wiping the counter after every customer, every single customer, but they're not going out there and wiping the gas pump handles. I mean, it's just insane. People are just insane. They've lost their minds. Oh my God, pandemic. Have you ever read pandemics? This is not a pandemic. I mean, when you get, 10% of a population that starts dying off, then I'll call it a pandemic. But until we hit numbers like that, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It still, to this day, has still killed less people than car accidents. The joke going around right now is that nobody in 2020 has died of old age. Get it? I hope you get it. Nobody in 2020 has died of old age. Yeah. That's because every time somebody dies of old age, COVID kills them. Every time somebody gets shot, COVID kills them. It's ridiculous. It's the dumbest thing ever. And yeah, but there's no reason, and there's no reason to wash your hands unless, I mean, as a female, I can see more of a reason to wash your hands after you use the bathroom every time. But as a male, I mean, I'm not going to give descriptions, but I'm only touching my own skin. It is no different than doing this. It is no different. Why do I need to wash my hands after touching my own skin? Why do I need to wash my hands? That makes no sense to me. It never has made sense to me. But neither does wearing a seatbelt. Why am I forced to wear a seatbelt? I mean, who am I hurting if I don't wear a seatbelt other than myself? Why is the government going to write me fines and fine me for not wearing a seatbelt? Well, I thought they didn't want me to survive. I mean, last time I checked, the government wanted to kill us all off. So why do they care if I wear a seatbelt or not? For that matter, why do they care if I wear a mask? Because masks are causing brain damage. And the dumber we are, the more we're easy to control, right? Just look at the public school system. I could go on a rant about public school systems. I know because I used to go to one. But all right, yeah, it's getting a little late and I do have to get going. 40 people in the chat and I got 40 thumbs up. That's awesome. I'm going to write that down somewhere and see if that's going to be a record. I mean, we've got to break this record every time I do a live. I'm going to try to do one of these every week. I'm not really sure what time. This was kind of like a last minute thought here doing this. I'm glad I did though, because it's been fun. It really has. But I do have to go. I'm still drinking coffee at 7 p.m. and I'm not done with my day yet. My day will end sometime around midnight and then I might sleep for about 4 or 5 hours and then I'll get up and probably make more videos. I do need, yeah, I'm not washing my hands. I really don't. I'm touching my own skin. I'm not washing my hands for touching my own skin. I rarely wash my hands, and you know what? I rarely get sick too. I don't have flu shots. I don't get sick. I don't get sick. I mean, I'm pretty sure in early of the year I had COVID. I'm pretty sure. But yeah. Anyway, bye Homestead Oz. I'm assuming that's still Lynn. Bye Lynn. Tell Wayne I said hi. And yeah, feed your visitors if you must. You remind them when you're feeding them that food shortages. Remind them. Just do it anyway. All right, I'm going to figure out how to end. Okay, I found the button. So I'm going to end the stream now, guys. Thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate everybody being here. I appreciate the chat. I will definitely do this again. Probably try to do once a week, maybe twice a week. But yeah, good night, everyone. Good morning, some of you. And guys, I'll see you later.